Hello, Solo fans, fellow Star Warsians, buddies, cool cups. This is the spoiler review for Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, guys, in case you didn't know, we've already done the movie review. So if you didn't see the movie review, you can go watch that. If you don't want to watch this spoiler review, go on the timeline and just watch the regular movie review. This is the spoiler version. So if you haven't seen it, don't want anything spoiled for you, this is where you leave. Thank you for even clicking. Now, for the rest of us, let's go into this film. Now, the film starts off with much promise, right? I love the way it comes on. Ron Howard did a great visual job when shooting this project in the beginning. The shooting is excellent. When it first comes on, just that action scene alone with him trying to hotwire the car and the screen is black and you hear the sound and you just see the little flashes from when he put the wires together. And then when he ties it, the screen come on. Excellent shot. Excellent opening shot. One of the best I've seen in a long time for an action film. This was something that grasped the audience right away. And you go, whoa, what is this? Man, this is going down already. And you don't know what has happened, but you already vested. That's a quick attention grabber. Which is unlike how any Star Wars movie goes. Star Wars movie starts with an opening shot, boom, then you'll see a ship. Or even if there was conflict, they would slowly work you right into the conflict. This jumps you right into it. Yeah, it was kind of, but you saw a little Disney in it too. And they really don't go into too much. Sorry about that. They exclude a lot of things out of the story to move other pieces along. Like right from the beginning, you see that Han's trying to escape where they live. They basically feel like our lives would be better. Thank you, Dance Party. Once they left, their lives would be great. How could Hustler Production, if Han couldn't speak Wookiee, he wouldn't have understood Chewie for all these years. How do you think he understood Chewie all this time if he couldn't speak Wookiee? Now, like I told you, the introduction into Chewie and Han was great. The whole shot, everything about that was the best scene of this film. But the way he portrayed Han and the way they kept using nostalgic things from Star Wars, from anything you've seen with Han Solo's character, you know, him using the thermal detonator and all this stuff to get things done and negotiate. This has become a tactic used by him or used in Star Wars that we've seen before throughout time. So it was funny to see it done, but again, the story moves along without a lot of action to it. I love the beginning. Everything else in the middle was a bit because listen, this was about character development. I liked the performance he did as Han Solo. Okay, the guy can act. And I was worried about how he was going to portray Han because I'm like, he don't really sound like Han. But when you saw him perform, you were not worried about his performance of Han Solo. He fit the film, period. He fit as Han. So he worked. There was no problems with him at all. He did a great job of convincing me he could play Han Solo. Good morning to you. Yes, he could play Han. He pulled that off. I mean, I wanted to see a lot more from the landing from Lando, but they pretty much made him just a simple guy that's going to be charged for sexual harassment by robots, humans, anything that moves. And that's basically Han's character. He will do anything for money. You want me to screw that robot? Everything you heard about me is true. Now, I mean, really, they made him just like they over exaggerated his character, and made that all he was. Woody did good in the film. I think he was underused in the film. I really do. I really think Woody was underused in this film. I thought they could have used Woody a lot better than what they did. That's just my opinion. He sold the Lando. I mean, yeah, he looks like Lando. He actually talks like a young Lando. They cast it well. I'm saying the plot, how they wrote his character in. He's in love with this robot, L3, and this robot is so over exaggerated, so independent. I didn't like L3. I did not like the character of L3. L3 got on my nerves. I could not stand it because I'm like, it don't fit. Because we've never seen that type of technology in a robot, period, throughout the rest of Star Wars as it went forward. So we're supposed to, L3 was thick. Oh my God. You need help. I don't even know what a pansexual is, but if it's got something to do with him trying to figure out how he gonna screw this robot, then yeah, that was it. Oh, pansexual just mean they have no limits. Yeah, that's exactly what they turned Han into. I mean, not Han, but Lando. Now, I didn't get that character. I did not get that out of Lando when I first saw him in The Empire Strikes Back. But they made Han Solo the way Han was supposed to be. I saw it. He was flirting with Han at the table when they were gambling. I was like, man, I'm like, is that all they think of Lando? The only person he ever flirted with in his whole universal career was Princess Leia. When he saw Leia come, oh my. So I don't know how they take that from his character and say, well, Lando will sleep with anything. That's just Lando. Pando. Yeah, but see, the movie hits a dull point. I would have loved to see what they were really fighting for 3 years later. They spud past him getting kicked out the Naval Academy, and where he actually learns to become a pilot. And the worst line in the movie that I could tell you, it is the absolute worst line in the movie, is when that other alien thing got shot, who was the pilot. When he got shot and he's dying, which I knew something was going to happen to him, he's getting out of here so Han can come in and fly the plane. Once he got shot down and Han goes up there to fly for the first time, this is the worst line of the movie. Soon as he's in there, Han's flying the plane, and while they got the wires, he's basically keeping the plane steady while they got the cables hooked up to the train that they're trying to pull off. Now, if you want to see this scene done better, watch the last main runner, the Scorch Trials. They did this exact same thing. But the worst line used in this film is when Han is keeping the plane straight while the train is moving and they got the cables up there. The thing that's dying says, "Oh my God, you're right, kid. You're one hell of a pilot." He just got in the seat. He hadn't done nothing. How the hell is he a hell of a pilot already? Who wrote this? He didn't even do nothing. I can see if he did a spin, did something. He got cables hooked up to a thing. He just keeping the thing straight. The thing died. He was in the seat maybe 2 minutes. I gotta admit it, kid. You're one hell of a pilot. He just sat down. The absolute worst line in the entire movie. Absolute worst line of the movie. Now we got to figure out the rest of this story. Han, who's inspired for some reason to get back to his planet that he's from. So he needs money in order to do that. So he wants to do this one job because there's money involved, right? So he can get that money. Not for him to join. He wants to do that one job so he can get that money so he can go back and get his girl. Then he gets there and finds out the girl that he likes is already there. Oh, Emilia Clarke was great in her performance. She was outstanding. Great casting. She was excellent. It's 5 out of 10? No, I wouldn't give it a 5 out of 10. I would definitely give it a 7 out of 10. You got to understand, this is a good movie. It's just that it was very well directed. The pacing of the movie is what throws you off. You don't have any development of some of these characters that you want to know like what's going on a little bit more. Like when they're on the planet and they're fighting, I guess it didn't matter what planet they were on. When Han was in the army, he had got kicked out of the Imperial Naval Academy to learn how to fly. We would have loved to have seen him become the pilot that he was supposed to be. Like, how did he become the great pilot, Han Solo? He just keeps telling everybody he can fly, and then we believe him. I would have loved to have seen him either get behind a plane and fly or learn some things at the Imperial Naval Academy before he was kicked out, rather than seeing him when he's kicked out already in the mud and how he escaped. I would have rather him get kicked out or find a way to escape the Naval Academy. That would have made more sense than having him be a foot soldier who gets kicked out. When Han Solo's best thing about him is his piloting. That was that would have made more sense to me than have him as a grunt foot soldier. But that was the way you bring in Woody's character and everybody else and Chewie and all of the different things. But I think it would have still worked had he been in the Naval Academy. Alden is an amazing actor. I told you this before. No one believed me. The guy who played Baby Driver, he was supposed to be Han Solo. He dressed as Han Solo in Baby Driver. So he ended up doing Baby Driver and he didn't get the role, so he did Baby Driver. And they gave the role to Alden. Of course, it's worth seeing, without a doubt. Of course, it's worth seeing. It's a decent story. I'm trying to piece this thing together for you. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you might not want to see this. This is a spoiler review. So if you hadn't seen it, I got a movie review for it already. You can go watch that. Because here is where we spoil things. We're not really going over the movie step by step. Your grade for it might change if you watch it a second time. I've seen it, 3 times right now. Now I have a better understanding for it. But let's look at it. Han Solo's a selfish rebel who only cares about what he wants, right? He got separated from what he loves. He needs to go back to do this and complete this wrong and right this wrong. Thank you. So he wants to right this wrong. Go back and get the person he loves, but he needs money. So he has to do this one job and he'll be set for life. Set for life. One job. Now, his focus is the job. And while he's there for this one job he wants to do so he can go back to get the woman he loves, instead, he goes forward and runs into rebels, runs into the rebellion. Now, when he runs into the rebellion, he has a moral compass to help out the rebellion, right? Han makes a moral compass to help out these rebels. This is the same thing that happened with Han Solo's character in the very first Star Wars, A New Hope. Did it not? Well, you got to look at it from what it is. It's not that Han was in a different mindset. He didn't want nothing to do with the Empire. He didn't want anything to do with anybody. He only cared about doing his job, getting his money, and being a scoundrel. Working with Jabba, he had a job and went left, so he owed Jabba money. So once they told him he was gonna get some money, and that could set him straight with Jabba and do what he wanted to do. He was like, I got some suckers right here. I'm gonna really bleed them dry. That's the only reason he cared. He didn't care about no rebellion and getting involved. So now this messes up his arc from episode 4, because how did he go right back to not caring about the rebellion? When you see from the very first Solo story, you see he has a soft spot, a moral compass to help out the rebels that show up at the end. You see what I'm saying? This is a new hope. Han Solo took the money and left the rebellion and it's like, look, I got my own problems and a new hope. He took the money and he left. Then he has a moral compass to come back and help the rebellion in the Force Awakens. Not a Force Awakens, but a New Hope. He does the same thing here. He got the money. All he got to do is leave. He decides, I'm going to help these rebels. Now, let's get to why we all popped in to find out what the hell was going on with Darth Maul at the end. Darth Maul is the guy that everyone seems to know, the outlaw who has a bunch of systems he's been taking over under his own logo called Crimson Dawn. Now, under the name Crimson Dawn, with his own logo that he's running, and he's been taking over all the fuel and everything else and running it under the Empire. How they're going to bridge this together. Now, the first time I saw Darth Maul, I was focused to make sure this wasn't his brother. Then I said, no, wait a minute, that's Darth Maul. That's Ray Park, but that is definitely Darth Maul. Now, it has been what, 19 years? 19 years since he has played the character of Darth Maul. 19 years. You understand that? Episode 1 was 19 years ago. Now, when I first saw it, I was more focused on the face and what was being said rather than what was going on with Darth Maul, like his appearance. So during my second and third time going back to see the film, I was able to see right from the beginning, they show you his robotic legs. He's got robotic legs, and they show that first. That was the first thing you see when he's sitting down. You can see he's got robotic legs. And then he stands up. You can hear the sound when he stands up. with his robotic legs. Which says that they're going along with the theory that Darth Maul survived. So what they're doing is saying we're going to fix the problem that happened with episode 1. And that was the only problem I had really with episode 1 in Star Wars, is that they should have never killed Darth Maul. Darth Maul should have been there for at least 2, if not 3 of the movies. We did not need Count Dooku. Count Dooku could have just been a traitor who used to be part of the Jedi that came over there or whatever, or somebody that worked there as a traitor and went to work with them. We didn't need him hosting a lightsaber. I loved Christopher Lee, but Christopher Lee did not need to be in a lightsaber duel. Rest in peace. But he did not need to be in a lightsaber duel with Yoda. I did not want to see that. I would have rather seen Darth Maul fight Yoda in part 2. So for having him go through this whole battle with Darth Maul, and now see, what you guys don't understand is this is a 3-part movie, meaning that we don't know if we're going to get 3 solo movies. It's set up to get 3 solo movies, but it's don't think it is. We got solo movie. The next one could be the Boba Fett, and the next one could be Obi-Wan. He's contracted. Alden is contracted. He's contracted for 3 Star Wars films. So he might be in the Boba Fett movie with Darth Maul, that all ties into the solo story, and the Obi-Wan story would probably be the 3. Well, this messes up the timeline now. Now they're saying this is happening under the Emperor's nose, under Vader's nose. How could they not sense Crimson Tide? I mean, Crimson Dawn is doing all of these things, and he's part of the dark side unless he has an arrangement with the Emperor. Right. This is taking everybody back through Rebels, which just finished their last season. I never sleep in my jersey. So this is approximately 30 years after Obi-Wan beat Darth Maul on Naboo. Let me see. Yeah, it would be about 30 years. That is correct. There can only be 2 in the Sith order, meaning master and apprentice. The rest would be scattered out. But that doesn't mean everybody has to be dead, is what I'm trying to tell you. They didn't just kill everybody. They just said, look, you could only teach one. Each one teach one. The master and the apprentice, and the other guy who's a master, he teaches his apprentice. Then that's how they do it. They only do two. They can't do it like the Jedi's, who can have a whole school with one master teaching all of them. And the Jedi system don't work. They should incorporate the each one teach one, because they always seem to have somebody there who freak out and be like, you know what, forget this. I'm killing everybody here. And Obi-Wan was just such a ridiculous trainer. I mean, he was jealous of Anakin. He was jealous. That was the whole thing was about. His jealousy played right into Sidious's plan. He knew Obi-Wan was jealous, wanted to prove he could do things that Anakin can do. Anakin can do things twice without even doing it. It's natural for him. That's why he kept being critical of him, putting him down and all that. We don't do it that way. Talking about he was my friend. How was he your friend? All you did was down the man every time he did something. Now he done got a new teacher. Now you want to be all, I failed you. He never liked him anyway when he was a little kid. Why are we bringing this kid along? Well, this kid helped us get the parts. Well, we gonna be saving everybody, bringing people along. He knew he couldn't trust Anakin. Why? What did Anakin show him besides saving their life that he couldn't trust Anakin when he was on Tatooine? He was just mad because Qui-Gon was looking at Anakin more than he was looking at him. His master was all raving about this kid. He's like, well, you don't rave about me. You don't be raving about me at all. All the stuff that was said, only thing he cared about is when he said in the council, Obi-Wan is ready for the trials. I'm very proud you think I'm ready for the trials, master. He's like, there's not much more I can teach him about the Force. He's ready for the trial. Now I'll train Anakin. He wanted to just train Anakin. He's like, look, I don't know why you don't do what the council say do. And everybody can see the kid's dangerous. Didn't you hear him? He's just mad. He was just jealous of him the whole time. The movie don't suck. It's just that it doesn't have a lot of action to it, like a lot of grit to really suck you in. You know, like, all right, I'm sucked in now. They don't really have that grit to really suck you in. There's no real villain. The real villain is just a sleazeball who gets taken out in like by the person he's working with in like less than 2 minutes. So you're running around with no villain. It's just Han doing these nostalgic tasks. Who didn't know that they were going to do the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs? Going through this thing, you didn't know what the Kessel Run was, but you were going to see it in the film. We all knew Han Solo was going to do the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. That's what he's known for. This is the spoiler review, King Team. I don't think you want to be here for this one. There's a movie review on here. We're talking about the movie like in full here. The Kessel Run, I mean, the scene was cool, but that basically was the movie. There's no villain. In theory, Paul Bettany was considered a villain. If you picture him staying on a ship and never leaving the ship and sipping wine all the time and talking as a villain, yeah, okay. He had these little lightsaber night dart things that light up. Then you get killed by an assistant. And what was the point of Darth Maul grabbing his lightsaber? We're gonna be working a lot closer together. I guess can nobody say there was no lightsaber in the film at all? We need a lightsaber moment. We need to be working. We're gonna be working real closely together. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna get the Me Too movement going right there. That was kind of seductive. He was holding that lightsaber like it was his unit. We gonna be working real closely together, man. You I'm like, uh-oh, Morgan Freeman gonna be like, what about him? Y'all talking about me? What about that Darth Maul and that new Star Wars thing? That wasn't sexually inappropriate behavior. Oh man. The movie is definitely watchable. It is a good movie. It just lacks a lot. There's a lot of things that lack. But I tell you, the worst line I ever heard, I mean, ever heard in this film is when that doggone monster thing was who was the pilot once he was dying and in the ship, and Han gets in there and flies less than 2 minutes. You were right, kid. You're one hell of a pilot. I'm like, who wrote this thing? You're one hell of a pilot. I'm like, did Disney come in here and do some rewrites? Because that's a Disney type of thing. Why the hell when this guy ain't did nothing but hold the thing straight? Like, I'm gonna just hold it straight while he's linked up the cables. All he gotta do is steer the thing straight. The train is pulling him on this job and they're holding the thing. He was in that seat less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. I swear, you could probably time it. And he goes, "You're right, kid. You're one hell of a pilot." They had Chewie in captivity. They kept Chewie chained up and was feeding him, and they called him the monster and watched him chew things up. It looked like Chewie was eating robot parts and everything else. So they threw Han down there. Him and Han had a fight, which was unrealistic because Chewie would have ripped him in half. And then Han starts speaking Wookiee to him, and then that's how they became friends. They end up breaking out together and doing the job. But we talked about this movie enough. You guys go check it out. This is a good movie. It is watchable. Do not watch the movie. It's just not a stellar Star Wars movie. And basically, Han Solo's character is the same character in episode 4. It's the same story for him, the same arc. Think about it. Young guy wants to get money. Scoundrel wants to do a job, heist something, steal something, get some money, so he can go back and take care of some business he want to do. Gets money, has a moral compass to help out some rebels. Episode 4. He was doing this job for money because he wanted to go back and pay Jabba. The rebel said, come stay. He's like, nah, give me my money. I'm up. He took his money and left. Then he had a moral compass to come back and help Luke at the end. In this movie, wanted to do a job to get back to the planet to be with his girl. He wanted to get back there, so he wanted to do this one job so he can get some money and go back and save her. That was his whole goal. He gets the money. Now he could go and be free with his girl. But then he sees a bunch of rebels, and he seems prompted to help these rebels. So now he's going over to Jabba. Now the next episode, we'll find out about Jabba. Might be in the new film that you're going to see with Boba Fett. Anyway, I'm out. Thanks for stopping by. I got to get out of here.